Hi, Trish here from Baba Yo Crochet, and welcome to our first Piece of Cake Fridays. Today I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy little leprechaun. You can use him as a keychain if you want. He will take probably about half an hour, and you're going to need a few things. You'll need worsted weight yarn in green, black, peach, and orange. You'll need a size 4 G-hook, a tapestry needle, some fiber fill, and if you happen to have a cute little button to put on the side, grab that as well. All right, let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna make our little leprechaun, and you'll notice mine has a little rainbow button because I have a bunch of extras of those, so I just wanted to throw it on there. And if you have something like that, go ahead and put it on yours at the end. So we can just jump right in. And we're going to get our green yarn onto our hook. And I know you guys know some better ways to do this. But again, I'm self-taught, so I always just tie mine on. I'm going to just scooch some of this stuff out of the way so you can get a better view of what I'm doing here. So the first thing we're going to do, you can either start with a magic ring, or you can chain 5 and join with a slip stitch into the first chain to make a ring. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, join with a slip stitch to make a ring, and then we're going to single crochet 9 into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then for our next row, we're just going to increase around. So that means we're going to put 2 single crochets into each stitch, and that'll give us 18 stitches all together in this round. I'm at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Our next 2 rows are going to be a little bit special. What we want to do is create kind of a right angle almost for his hat. So we need to build some structure for that. So what we're going to do for the next row is we're going to single crochet into the back loops only. So that's 18 single crochets into the back loops only. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, and now for the next round, we're going to single crochet into both loops. So we're going to go both loops, 18 single crochets all the way around. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, so now all we're going to do is we're going to add 3 more rounds of regular old single crochets. So we're going to go 3 more rounds with 18 stitches, and I'm going to pause the camera. Go ahead and do that, and then you go ahead and pause the video, put on your next 3 rounds, and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, here we go, back again. And now we've got this little shape here, and if you just kind of shape it as you go, you can see that it's got a nice sort of edge to it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our black brim on. as you can see right there. And we're not going to cut our green yarn off. We're going to leave the green yarn on, and we're going to switch colors though to black. So to switch a color, what you want to do is insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop. So you've got these two loops on the one. Grab the next color and pull up the last loop to complete the single crochet, and then just start crocheting. And you will have you'll have a ledge almost, but it will be a nice, neat, clean transition. And so now with our black, we're just going to single crochet around just one row. And when we get to the end of this round, we're going to cut off our black, and we're going to leave a fairly long tail. And what I'm going to do, this is where I want to change back to green. So I'm inserting the hook, pulling up a loop, and I'm just going to go ahead and switch my color before I cut the black. So now I've completed my black round. So I'm going to leave quite a long tail. And there we go. So now I have my green back on. What we're going to do now is just create this little rim here, okay? So what we're going to do for the rim is we are going to do the following pattern. We're going to go single, single, increase, single, single, increase, all the way around. We're going to do that 9 times. So there will be 27 stitches on the round with the rim. So here we go. Single, single, increase. An increase is putting 2 stitches into one. So single, single, increase, single, single, increase, single, single, increase, single, single, increase, and single, single, increase. And I'm just going to join my green with a slip stitch into that next stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to give it a nice long tail because I'm going to weave that in and go ahead and cut that off. All right. So now it's time to add the peach. So now what we're going to do, I'm just going to tuck all these tails in here. This green one I'm going to leave out. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit like this, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch my peach into the back loops of the black. So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch peach into the back loop. And then I'm going to just crochet around into the back loops of the black. Okay, here we go. So 1, that's going to be 18 stitches. 1, if I can get that in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck this bit in there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 3 more rows of 18, just regular old rows. So 3 more of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna pause the recording. You go ahead and pause the video and do 3 more rows of peach. So there will be 4 rows of peach, 4 rows of 18 all together. And I will meet you on the other side. See you in a minute. Hi again. Okay, so we have our peach, our little face on here. Now what we want to do is decrease the circumference of this from 18 stitches to 15. So that what we're going to do is we're going to go single, 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 decrease. Single, 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 decrease. We'll do that 3 times, and that will take us down from 18 stitches to 15. So here we go. 1 single, 2, 3, 4, and now a decrease. So that's going to be a insert hook, yarn over, and draw through all three loops there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease. So that's going to give us 15 stitches. I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch, draw up a fairly long tail. You're going to want probably about 12 inches because we're going to be gathering and closing this piece here. So go ahead and snip that off. Then grab your fiber fill and go ahead and stuff your little guy. Now, when you're doing your fiber fill, you want to sort of hold on to it and shape it as you go. And you want to give it some support on the outside rather than just plunking it in, because that's going to give it bumps and it's going to make it quite bulky. You want it stuffed firmly, but not so the stitches show through the, sorry, not so the fiber fill shows through the stitches. Okay, so now we've got this. Go ahead and grab your tapestry needle and throw your yarn on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to gather in the front loops of each of these stitches, each of the last row here. We're going to gather all the way around. And then when we get to the end, we're going to pull it tight to close that gap. Okay, now there might be a little hole there, and that's okay. What we're going to do is just add a couple of stitches back and forth over it. Make sure it's nice and closed. And it's sort of a wonky shape right now. Don't worry, we're gonna take care of that. Okay, so that's closed. I'm going to just tie a knot here. Okay, nice and tight. And then I'm going to zip this tail through a couple times. And you don't want to cut your tail off too short, because if you do, it could pop out and there's no way of really keeping it in there. This way, if we zip it through a few times, it's not likely to come out. All right, so now my shape is a little bit weird, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use my tapestry needle to shape it a little bit better towards the end here. Okay, so there's the beginning. And now what we'll do is we'll make our little beard, and we'll use our orange for that. And you're gonna start leaving a long tail, okay? So you want it, I don't know, a few inches like that, maybe 6 inches, something like that. And just get it on here. And we're going to chain 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. when you're chaining, you want to not make it a really tight chain. You want to keep your tension a little bit loose. And then we're just going to single crochet 12 across. We're just going to zip back 12 stitches. And we want to keep that chain straight so we don't get any bumps. Although it won't matter because this is just going to be a beard anyways, so they can be bumpy. All right, and then I'm going to tie this off here, and I'm going to leave another fairly long tail. I've got about 12 inches here because I want to have extra. I would rather have too much yarn on the end than not enough, because I've made that mistake plenty of times. All right, we're going to go ahead and get that into our tapestry needle. And then what you want to do is the top of the chain, like in the very beginning chain there, that's where you want to be sewing to the face, because we've got this nice sort of, it's thicker down here and it sort of bumps out a little bit better. So we're going to, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slip my yarn up here just to move it up, because that's where I want to be sewing. I want to be sewing along that line. And then I'm just going to position it on the face. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. I'm just going to position it on there and add some stitches and sew it on. So I'll just do that. And I'm going to just kind of place it as I go. You might find it easier to pin it on to where you want it to go. I don't ever do that. If it doesn't look good to me, I just will undo it. So it's not exactly efficient, but I don't know. It's my what is it? Modus operandi? I don't know what the word is. You know what I'm trying to say. It's the way I do it. Okay. And I'm sort of readjusting as I go because I want it to be even. But again, that might be why you pin yours. All right, so now we're there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, and I'm gonna just go ahead and insert my hook, and I'm gonna just poke it through to this side so I can tie my knot over here. So I'm gonna just go ahead and tie my knot here. Okay, and let's take a look. Yep, happy with that. Okay, and I'm going to just grab, I've got another tapestry needle that I like to use. It's got a bigger eye, and so I can get more more yarn in there. So I'm going to, what I want to do here is I'm going to put these two into this tapestry needle with the bigger eye. It's a blunt end, so it's not as fine. Like I can't get such fine stitches, but it's really handy for something like this. So what I want to do is just hide these ends, and this should be enough to go all through. Just the one side should be enough. And I'm going to leave it, like, I don't want it super tight, because I still want to have like a pretty decent sized tail in there so it doesn't pop out. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And yep, happy with that. And now the last thing that we have to do is the face. So we're going to get a length of black yarn. I'm going to use my pointy tapestry needle. And oops, that happens sometimes. I'm going to go on the other end now. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 2 French knots for the eyes. and then just a couple of stitches for the mouth. So to begin though, I want to start up here in the black, and that way I can hide my knot. And I'm just going to poke it over. You can kind of play around with your placement wherever you like, you know, your facial features. So I'm going to leave it a tail about this long. And then to do a French knot, what you want to do is wrap the yarn around the needle and then poke it very close to the same stitch that it came out of, but you don't want it in the exact same one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my needle over so that it's even over here. And with the French knots, I find it's good to sort of support the yarn as it's going through as much as you can. Just makes it a little bit neater. And don't pull it too tight. You want to have a little bit of a bump on there, okay? And just do the same thing over here. So I'm going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to insert it very close to where it came out, but not exactly in the same spot. And then for my little mouth, I'm going to poke my needle right here. And just draw that in nice and slow. There we go. And I'm going to do a little V right here, right in the middle. When you're working on something this little, your features might not be perfect, and that's okay. And then when I'm all finished, I'm going to poke my yarn back up through this initial part here. And I'm going to tie my knot. And now this is just a small project. I'm going to just even that out. This is a small project. When I'm doing toys and stuff, if I'm tying my knot, I always tie 3 because I find that 3 will hold better. This being such a small project, probably no kids are going to be, you know, too rough with it. The 2 knots should be fine. And I'm just going to go ahead and poke this through and tie it off. Now I still have this green tail here to get rid of. So I'll just do that now. And I'll just poke it through a couple times here. And that's it. There's your little leprechaun, you guys. So I hope you like him. Now, if you happen to have a key ring, you can sew that on the top. If you happen to have a little rainbow button or anything like a little gold coin or something else that's sort of leprechaun-y, you can sew that on the side. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'd love for you to send me some pictures of your work. That would be just great. Please go ahead and like this video and subscribe and do all of that stuff. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and a little bit on Twitter, but not very much. So, okay, thanks again, guys. Catch you later.